Hello, and hello to my cat as well, who is meowing incessantly. Do you want up? Do you want up? What? Of course, he is very excited, as we all are. This video is addressing something that's a long time coming, which is what the heck? Where are all the manga videos? Why did I stop reading manga? Why am I on this weird manga hiatus? I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I've been wanting to kind of address this. I felt like I wanted to kind of go over this and explain before I started reading manga again. But I was only really motivated to do it when I wanted to read manga. And then, that feeling would sort of pass and I would return to this non manga period. Let's just get into it. Let's talk about what I'm talking about. So, the Keats the YouTube channel was predominantly for reading and reacting to manga for many, many years. Probably a lot of you watching this came to the Keats the YouTube channel because of manga reactions. And this is where I first attained some level of popularity and where I had the most success. It was through manga videos that I was sent a lot of gifs of manga and things like that, which I really appreciated. And, the only times I really felt like a successful YouTuber was via the manga content, I would say. And it was very fun. I had really had a lot of fun reacting to manga. We had a lot of really special moments, a lot of fun speculation, a lot of fun discussion, big dives into what do you want? Big dives into, what is this medium? Why do I love it so much? What are all these genres? Why is it written the way it is? But it was also kind of a pain. It took a lot of time to make these videos, and sometimes it was stressful because, my memory is fallible and I would forget what a certain character popping up was in reference to, or some plot points or something, and feeling like I had some obligation to kind of describe the series well and to react to things in a proper context made them a little intimidating sometimes. Of course, it was also the bane of my channel insofar as that it caused me to get lots of copyright takedowns, and twice my channel got nuked because of manga content. One time that was undone, but the other is lost for good. So it's kind of risky business too, making manga videos. And because of this, it wasn't that uncommon that I would take a break from doing it, that I just wouldn't be in the mood to do it for a while. A bunch of chapters would get skipped or pushed later and later and later, for maybe like a month or two at a time. And then, of course, longer breaks like during the channel nukings and stuff. But this is by far the longest break yet. This time, though, we haven't had a manga reading video since March 10th, 2021. What the heck is up with that? What the heck is up with that? Well, it's because mangadex went down. Mangadex had some big security breach. Hackers were able to get an old version of the database. They were worried that usernames and passwords would be compromised. They decided to take the site down and do a major overhaul, not just of the security side, but of every backend and front end functionality of the site. And this really shouldn't be a debilitating problem. Like, if I want to read manga, there's lots of other places to read manga. Like, lots of series I don't even read on mangadex, like all of the Viz series and a lot of Yuri series. And now mangadex is back anyways. It's been back for months. I think it came back in like early September, maybe even August. And I'm still not reading manga. So like, what's the deal? Because I haven't been reading manga at all. It's not just that I'm not recording myself and uploading manga videos. I just simply have not been consuming manga, period. There are some exceptions. Sometimes I have been rereading physical manga. I'm just in a particular mood or something. I'll grab some stuff down off the shelf. And then sometimes in conversation, I would recommend some series. And then I feel like everybody probably does this. When you recommend something, you want to like try to immerse yourself in it again, imagining yourself being that person that you just recommended it to. What are they going to experience when they first dive into it? And then you end up rereading big chunks of it yourself. That happened a few times. But like, this is pretty bizarre. Why did I just stop reading manga for 6 months? Which might not sound that crazy, but let's put this in context. Let's look at the magnitude of what this manga hiatus is in my life. So, in 2003, in January 2003, I think it was actually for Christmas in 2002, I was given this magazine, the first issue of Shonen Jump in North America. Mostly because Goku was on the cover. I was watching tons of Dragon Ball Z. My mom saw it in some store and thought, yeah, that sounds about right. My mind was completely blown by this, though. I had never really read manga before, and the combination of DBZ, which I loved, Yu-Gi-Oh, which before that I was kind of adverse to because I was like a diehard Pokemon fan, and the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh seemed to be stealing some Pokemon popularity kind of put me on edge. I was like anti Yu-Gi-Oh almost. But I became a convert because this adapted from the start when he was playing these crazy psychopathic death games with like a variety of opponents, and it wasn't just card games. I thought that was so cool. There was Sandland, another series by Toriyama that I had never even heard of before. That I was just blown away. This entirely other world from Dragon Ball. Yu Yu Hakusho was like a level of maturity, sophistication. This almost like gritty noir series. If you only know the later YOH, you're probably like, what the hell is she talking about? Isn't that like a crazy series where demons fight in a tournament? But at the start, it's more like really down to earth slice of life stories where he's a ghost and he helps other ghosts deal with their problems in life. And One Piece, more than anything, One Piece just got me caught up in the spirit of adventure where I just had to see what would happen next. I remember drawing almost every panel from that opening chapter. Such was my obsession, just waiting for the next issue to come out. Started getting manga out of the library too. My dad at the time was dating someone who worked at our local library, and she would set aside new volumes as they came in. I read like a lot of Dragon Ball and Ranma 1/2. Those were my main focuses. Like the OG Dragon Ball. And around 2008, I can remember the date because of when in One Piece it was, I realized, hey, wait a minute. I can just read manga on the computer. Even though I am trapped on the farm in rural oblivion, it is fast enough for me to load black and white manga pages over the internet. And immediately I got caught up on One Piece. This was around the end of Thriller Bark, I remember, which is how I know it was 2008. Oh my gosh, I can still remember these crappy scans with like really dark artifacting and miserable translations, reading through Skypea, feeling like the end of Skypea, like this must be just the end of the series. How could they ever top this? But knowing that there is still volumes and volumes for me to download and read through, that feeling was so exhilarating. I knew at the time that I was an addict for life. And since then, I've been reading manga online pretty much constantly. I would say most days I read at least some chapter of some series, and I can't imagine any other times where I've taken more than a month break. I know when my channel went down last year, I took a couple months off where I just wasn't bothering to read because I was staying at my friend's place. I didn't really have my computer set up. I just had my laptop. I didn't really want to bother reading it on my laptop. We were busy doing stuff like watching movies and playing games, and so I took a break then. But aside from that, I can remember even like on vacation and stuff, I would be keeping up with all my series. I can't think of any time where I didn't read manga for more than a month. And now, pretty much no manga whatsoever for over 6 months. It's by far the longest I've gone without this manga hobby. The act of keeping up with series. First on One Manga, if you remember that, and then on Batoto, and now on mangadex. That act of checking in throughout the day to see if new chapters had come out. Even before One Manga, I was downloading scans and zip files. That was kind of how it started, from scan groups like Frankie House. And this is probably I don't know why I said probably. This is definitely the biggest continuity of any hobby I've ever had. I have no other hobbies that I've kept up this consistently. I can't think of anything else that I've done with such consistency since childhood. Like anything at all. Outside of eating, sleeping, various hygiene things like that. It has lasted longer than any of my friendships, any job, any school program I was in, any residence where I lived. And it was kind of an addiction, really, honestly. It was an addiction. I would prioritize keeping up with some series over basically anything. That if I saw a new chapter had come out, I would drop pretty much anything and everything to read it. to avoid work on many, many occasions. I can remember, especially in my undergrad, I was supposed to write some paper or another, and instead I would just sit there reading through some long series all night long. And making manga videos, as I said before, was almost this like overwhelming pressure that there were so many chapters that I wanted to make videos of. There was so many things I wanted to say about every single panel, every single line, every single facial expression. It was overwhelming, and it felt like a pressure that I needed to do it, and I needed to get that feeling of having done it. And you know, that's pretty addictive. That's pretty addictive to be pushed in that direction so hard. I just needed to see it. I just had this sense that I needed to share it. That it was so precious and so fleeting. The newness of each chapter, the opportunity to speculate on what would come next. I was just addicted. There was no other word besides it than addiction. It was like this secret current of my life that ran underground and parallel to anything else. There were very few people I knew that also read manga. No one I knew read as much manga as me. I was aware of people that read as much manga as me. I have a friend that I don't see very often because he lives in another city who reads as much or more manga as me. And then he has a friend in turn. She reads more manga than anyone else I know, but I don't really know her very well. I've only met her like twice. But in my day to day life, in my friend groups, in my conversations, there was no one else that followed this or was interested in this. Unlike even something like anime, where, you know, I watch with friends quite often, we have like a watching club. Manga was like very much solitary, and really the only community I had around it was either on like 4chan's anime board. I used to post on manga a lot about that, or in an anime group chat I'm in. We'll talk about manga sometimes, or the YouTube videos, the seeing comments and the community formed around the YouTube videos. But all of this felt like it was kind of underground, that it was running parallel to everything else in my life, that it was just a different mode I would go into for hours every day. So, why did I cut this other mode out of my life? Why did I just remove this longest running and probably most important hobby of mine? At first, it was just because mangadex was down. And I thought, you know, I was pretty addicted to manga at the time. I was reading tons and tons of manga. It was basically all I was doing on my computer. And I thought, this is a good opportunity. I'm gonna stop for a little bit. Because I feel like, first, I really did think it was gonna be a little bit. I thought it maybe at max a month mangadex would be down. I think in general though, if you recognize that you're like really into something, whether or not you feel like you're addicted, it's good to confirm that you can just stop, like occasionally, just see if you can quit. I think this is like a good way to confirm that things aren't addictive, and that if you really have an issue when you stop, that you're gonna have to, you know, kind of deal with that a little more significantly. And it was kind of rough for a while, which makes me think that I was really addicted. I would have a lot of dreams in the first month or so where mangadex came back. I can remember distinctly some of these dreams. I remember one where I was like at a magic event, playing magic with some friends, and I was like halfway through a game when I checked my phone and I saw mangadex was back, and I was like, I concede. And I immediately got up and went to my computer, which was mysteriously at my friend's house, and started reading manga. That was the drive within me. That was the wish fulfillment that I was looking for. I could feel this weight of unread chapters piling up, this growing pressure of that once I returned to reading manga, there would be all these series that would have all these chapters, all of these arcs going on, all these things that were starting to slowly fade from my memory, fade from my active day-to-day life, would suddenly rush back and have to be kind of dealt with, have to be worked through, have to be emotionally processed. And even though, you know, part of me was obviously looking forward to that, part of me obviously really wanted to have those experiences and those emotional reactions and to lose myself in those series again, it was so much, it was so huge, that it really felt like a pressure, like a weight I was carrying around, this task that I had ahead of me. And it was such that when mangadex came back, this overwhelming feeling of there was so much to read, I really didn't feel like reading anymore. And I haven't, even though it's back, I haven't. Eventually I just kind of stopped caring, and you know, most of the time I'll go days and days, if not weeks, without thinking about manga at all. It's really hard. Like, I talk about it. I talk about how into it I was. I can watch myself being into it. There's video evidence. And yet I have a hard time believing on a visceral level. I have a hard time imagining and remembering just how into it I was, which is kind of crazy. So what did I learn from this experience? It actually affected me much less than I thought it would. Even though manga would make me so hype, it would make me cry, I would get so upset, it would just completely dominate my mood when I read it. I didn't feel its absence. I didn't feel like something was missing from my life after maybe a month. It just, the shape that it had left in me had been filled in, which is weird. It's kind of unsettling to see how quickly my emotional spectrum could readjust. Whereas I would have thought that, having a series in my life that I really loved, that really moved me, that once a week I would return to, and for that time I would be just taken to this absolutely other place. My entire mood would shift around it. I thought, removing something like that wouldn't be that much different than removing like a relationship, removing a friendship. In terms of how much it would devastate me, right? It didn't seem that different, and yet I found that I wasn't really missing it, and this was kind of disappointing too. I didn't end up using the time for anything productive at all. Right around the same time, maybe actually a little later, maybe like a month or so later, I started no-lifing Pokemon Go really hard. I'd never really played Pokemon Go before. We started playing this summer, and I went in, so to speak. And I think it's probably about the same time investment. I think I probably spent about as much time reading manga on a day-to-day basis as I did playing Pokemon Go as I play Pokemon Go now. That's not funny. I'm laughing, but that's not funny. That's way too much Pokemon Go. I am seriously no-lifing Pokemon Go. Why? Wouldn't I rather read manga? Oh, but Pokemon Go, you go outside. Oh, I'm walking around so much. You know what? Let's move on. What I've learned though is that it really taught me that you can't really know what you're missing in art. That it's not like an animal sort of craving. It's not like you're hungry. It's not like you're tired. It's not even like you're bored and you want stimulus, because you can get any sort of stimulus. But you really have to intellectually decide, I need in my life a story to get caught up in. I need in my life a romantic story. I need in my life an action-packed story. I need in my life something that opens up possibilities, something like that. And I've noticed the same thing when I take a break from reading books. Actually, what am I talking about? Before I was like, oh, manga reading is the most continuous hobby I've had since I was a kid. No, it's actually reading books. It's obviously reading books in retrospect. Or I guess like listening to music too. I don't know why I didn't think of those. But it's like a little different because those things, it would be like, books or albums, it's more like sporadic. It's more like I'm particularly into one or something. I'm reading through this book and it's like a long-term thing, and that's like the only book I'm reading generally. Manga is like a different sort of hobby, and that you just put some time into it every day to keep up with various series and stuff. Anyways, but I've noticed if I take a long break from reading a book, I don't miss it, and it's scary because I'd so quickly just return to a lifestyle where I'm not reading. And then when I do get into a book, like I just finished a book just now that I loved, I was reading that for like an hour a day easily. Like, I was so into it. I devoted so much of my time and energy and emotional energy and just my thinking to it. But I had to like intellectually decide. It wasn't like a craving. It wasn't something that my body was asking me for, but instead I had to stop and think, this will improve my well-being if I spend the time on it. It's a scary lesson, I think, in the context of nowadays. I would say most people consume media through a algorithmic trough. That the way the recommended stuff is that Netflix just tells them to watch it, or Spotify tells them to listen to it, as opposed to leaps into the unknown based on personal recommendation or just sudden discovery. Please, it's like a pet peeve of mine. I have an ongoing conversation with a friend about this idea of does Spotify actually diversify your tastes? Does Spotify actually help new genres, new movements, new artists to emerge and to flourish? Or does Spotify simply just give you more of what you think you want over and over and over again ad infinitum, and never really challenges you and never really asks you to boldly jump into something that you don't know whether or not you'll like. It just says, well, statistically you're gonna like this, so just watch it. Just shovel away at the trough. But let's not get super into this. But what I'm saying is that I really realize now that if I was in that mode, if I just simply listened to or watched or whatever, what was being algorithmically recommended to me over and over and over again, I probably wouldn't miss anything. I probably wouldn't think anything was wrong. I would probably never have some impulse to jump into new things. All of that has to come through like community. That has to come through physical encounters with art. It has to come through like forcing yourself to do things, even though you have substitutes, even though you have things that are easier. Anyways, the fact that I stopped caring, the fact that I was able to just quit, at first I thought was like a sign that I had good constitution. I was kind of addicted to this. I chose to stop, and then I stopped. But the fact that I stopped caring about stopping, the fact that I began to undervalue and underestimate how much this could expand my life and like expand my emotional horizons, how much I could care about this sort of stuff. The fact that I was able to push that out of my mind and just like play Pokemon Go instead, that to me is a much greater weakness. I really have to be proactive about, you know, not just what's easiest, not just what I'm already doing, but what is the art that I can seek out that will actually change my life. I really I really believe that my life must be shallower if not for manga, and that these last 6 months I have been missing something. Even though it doesn't feel like it, even though I can't point to it, I think my life really must have been missing something. Because in the end, I really do love manga. I really, really do. So what am I going to do? I'm gonna read some friggin' manga. I am gonna go back to reading manga. I kept changing my mind. I honestly thought maybe I should just do other things. Maybe I should really try to spend this time not playing Pokemon Go, but like reading more or learning a skill or exercising or something. I really debated whether or not it was good to kind of re-immerse myself in this addiction. But as far as addictions go, I just love manga. Like I think it's the best. I think it's like the best medium. I think the way you consume it is awesome. That there's just always fresh chapters coming at this nice cadence. There's so many genres and movements represented, so many stories that couldn't be told in any other medium. I just love manga. I really want to do it now. I'm so excited thinking back to so many series that I'm sure have so many new chapters. Eventually. I'm going to return to manga eventually. First, I want to finish another project that I'm working on, which is actually a comic I'm making. So maybe this will motivate me as a reward to really go at it. I'm probably not going to make videos of manga. It's just unfeasible. There's just too many chapters and too many series that I'd want to make videos of if I was to make videos of like any of it. It's just not feasible. I'm really sorry. It's gonna bother me reading through it on my own, I'm sure. I have so many things I want to say. I'm so sure I know what's gonna happen next. I wish I could share it with people. But it's never gonna happen if I try to devote myself to making videos. It's just not. I'm too busy. Not just with Pokemon Go, but with like all sorts of stuff. So it's just not gonna happen. Maybe, I'm not promising this, but maybe if you know there's specific chapters of series that I'm reading, that you know I'm reading, and you want me to make a reaction for that specific chapter because you know something hype will happen. I don't care if it's like a meta spoiler, feel free to tell me and I'll try to record it. I will make an honest effort to. But if I'm not like feeling it or I don't have time or something, it might not happen. I'll also try to do the same, like, if there's specific really hype things that need some, I think, special attention, like the remaining Berserk chapters, the final Attack on Titan chapter, which I still haven't read. Other series that have ended in this time, if I can tell there's some huge climax coming. Maybe, again, no promises, but maybe. Will I make videos for new chapters after I'm caught up? I don't know. We'll see. I'm sorry this isn't more definite. I'm sorry I can't make any promises. I just don't know what I'm going to feel like doing or what I'm going to have the time to do. And this has kind of always been the policy. Like, don't expect too much. If I feel like it, I'll do it. This has been the policy I've settled on after as I said before, it was kind of like a pressure to do them. I don't really want to feel that pressure. I want to just do it out of a spontaneous joy of sharing the manga reading experience. But yeah, I'm sorry it's not more definite. I'm sorry this video really doesn't announce anything. But what I do want to do, just for a little bit, because I think I'm about to have an alarm go off. Yeah, I have an alarm going off in 1 minute. For a Pokemon Go raid. I'm gonna go do a Pokemon Go raid. I wanna see what mangadex is like. I haven't been here really since the site relaunched. Let's log in. Yep. Let's remember myself. Remember my love for manga. Followed groups, MD lists. Followed groups. Okay, I remember I followed these before. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh man. Oh, this is still getting updated. Look at these. Banger, 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 banger. The masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece banger. Oh. This is gonna be the whole life lessons in these that I haven't seen yet. The entire life could have been lived. This is still getting updates. I knew this had finished because the author died. So I wondered if maybe it was just totally over by the time I get back, but it looks like I got volume 3 to read through. Hyoka. Oh, Kaguya-sama. Oh my gosh. I don't know where to start. I don't know where I'm gonna start. And this is just mangadex too. There's Viz to look at. Oh, this series was fun. Maid Dragon. I'm watching Maid Dragon. This ended 7 days ago. Wow. Wow. I hear there's progress in this series. I have a friend that is reading a lot of the same romance manga as me that will message me and be like, "Are you reading manga yet? Have you seen the progress?" He pointed to this series and Komi-san and said, "There's progress." And I was like, "There's not progress." Sangatsu. My God, how many chapters of Sangatsu do I have to read? Oh my goodness, since like here. All of this Winter Scent arc I don't think I've read yet. Jeez. Heterogeneous linguistics. Oh my goodness. This is gonna end sometime soon too. I know because this stupid group put out their spoiler chapter. But there's still a gap. There's still 8 more chapters in between. Vampires. You guys know Vampires? The series is bonkers. It's just vampire lesbians. But this guy, Higashiyama Sho, something about his work in Stretch and Prism and Vampires, there's this certain like melancholy to it that's really special. That I don't even know. Oh my God, Kaiji. Oh my God, what is even going on here? How did I let this go from me? It was so crazy when we stopped, dude. Remember, he had the bag, and he said this bag is full of porn. And of course it was full of cash. And then their helpful hosts were so curious about the porn, it backfired. And they were gonna sneak in and look at the porn. And Kaiji had some plan. What was his plan? I don't even know. I stopped reading, because I'm an idiot. Oh my goodness. Hita Sketch? They're still making Hita Sketch chapters a whopping... I guess I read this one too. Maybe? So 2 chapters! Whoa! Good job, Ume-sensei. Oh my gosh. This is getting an anime. I'm like super far behind on this. Even before I stopped reading manga, I was behind on this. The date? Are you kidding me? Is that how much progress there's actually been? We can say the word date. Ah, what? This is still going? This is like a doujinshi series. I thought there would be like one volume tops. Insane. It's about Toho characters playing mahjong. What more do we want? This I thought was going to end soon. I had the sense that it was going to end soon. But I guess not. I guess not. I don't know. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Dungeon Meshi. This I think is probably gonna end soon too. Bochi ended? What the fuck? Bochi ended? Oh my god, dude. Bochi ended? Bochi ended and nobody told me? Oh man, this is probably getting insane. Don't worry about that. Berserk. Jeez. How can I even start talking about this? Like, how can I even begin to wrestle with the fact that Berserk has ended so prematurely, so tragically? But we'll do our best. We'll do our best to reckon with the fact that Berserk has ended. All the Mahjong series, dude, they're still in this one game, aren't they? I doubt a single Mahjong game has ended. We'll see, but maybe short break indicates that they finished that game, but I doubt it. Hananai Arashi. Oh. This one about the rapping girl. All these series that I thought the Scanlation team had dropped that have been picked up in my absence. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is overwhelming. This is overwhelming. And there's more than this too. This is just mangadex. There's still the Viz site. There's still Dynasty scans. Oh, this lovely train. Why were so many of these uploaded all at once? Oh, now we're getting to the part where it actually did all come out at once, right? Because this is when mangadex returned, and there was the big 6 months catch up. Made in Abyss, I'm sure, is absolutely bonkers, and I won't understand for a second what's going on. This series is so nice. I forgot about this. Insane, of course. Why am I following it? Don't even ask. Okay, so this is where there's gonna be like everything. Okusan. Oh, I wonder if Okusan had her kid yet. I guess it hasn't really been that long in the end. Oh man, how could I have thought my life was normal, having not read these? I love this series so much. I love this series so much. Wotakoi. I don't even remember this. What was this? Oh, she was gardening. Right. Ah, yeah. The gardening. Just a nice little homemade gardening series. Oh, man. This, I guess, filled up the updates page. Alright. It's so weird. I forgot about this. This is a pervert series for perverts. Yeah, this is where the Blitz is. This I forgot I was reading. What was this even about? I think I like barely started reading this. And these are just the series that I was actively reading. There's the even more powerful list, which is the plan to read list, a mile long. Like, or maybe that's broken. I hope that isn't lost to time forever. I don't know. It looks like ooh. I don't know. Library? Oh, here we go. Plan to read. Ah, good. Oh, man, look at all these. Look at all these. This one's probably going to make me really upset. Because I'll feel lonely. Maybe same with this one. But I'll read them. This one's going to teach me all about Gunpla. This one's getting an anime. Wow. This one I already watched the anime. Same with this one, but I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna read it because it'll be different. Everyone keeps telling me to read this. I think it's probably gonna be really good. I can't wait to read it. Oh man, Shinohayu. Oh, Witch Hat Atelier. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. What a beautiful series. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Oh man. So many lovely series. Just these slice of life manga, you know, like we can go on and on about the epics of One Piece and Boku no Hero Academia and the scope and the hugeness and all of that, but like in the end it's just these really human stories that I find so beautiful in manga. Just the way they're depicted, the way they highlight just this part of everyday life. Oh, 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 ah, ah, the demons. It's getting so crazy too. Please ignore all the pervert series for perverts. The One Punch Man. Everybody keeps telling me the One Punch Man has been super hyped. There's the ending of Attack on Titan. I was thinking of a series when I was saying that, when I was talking about this one. How far is this since then? Oh, we got quite a few to read. Okay, okay. We can keep going. Now, actually, that was kind of it, right? Now we're at the part where these are chapters I've read. So, we have 22 pages to work through, plus all of this stuff, plus Dynasty Scan stuff. A new era is starting soon. I am returning to manga, my one and only true love. I hope eventually I will share some of this love with you and that you will join me at that time. Okay.